Welcome back, episode 31.
What's up, shitbags? Last episode of the year. Well, no, not last. Last guest of the year. You still got to listen to us two dumb fucks, which be a fun episode. But it's been one more whole year of bringing guests in and everything, and it's been awesome. We got a couple housekeeping things to get out. We've been talking about it, I know, for the last, I think, 3 episodes about the sweatshirts, but they are finally here. I got the proof right here. So for those watching, you can take a look. If you haven't seen the Facebook post, came out at this point a couple days ago. Get yourself a sweatshirt. It's on our website. You can get that there. You can also Venmo us, really. I'm going to kind of try and keep track of that. We're trying to start branching out and grow, but we're still stupid, so it takes a little bit of learning. So whatever's easiest. If you know us, reach out. We'll make things easy for you. But they're pretty sweet. Jobtown hooked us up. He's also got some tumblers coming. I don't have any pictures of those, but those are going to be awesome too. He just started doing some tumblers, so he hooked us up with a good deal on some of those too. All your cold weather gear, we got you guys. So
got some tumblers, mix some drinks in.
Yep. We still got some sweatshirts. We still got some of the Taylor's Tins cards. Those are all on the website. The t-shirts are t-shirts. I think I said sweatshirts twice, but the t-shirts are on sale a little bit. We dropped them down from our pre-order, the sponsorship t-shirts we did, which was also from Jobtown. Just huge thanks to him, dude. We can't do it without him. It's been awesome working with him. Huge thanks to everyone that's helped us here. We got, Toxic Suppression, our newest ones. Without them, we wouldn't be doing this merchandise order, which has been pretty sweet. Taylor's Tins, of course. Jeremy Sanders, can't wait to have him back on next year. Just, man, that started it all for us. Shout out again. We said in like the first episode, but the intro music you heard was my best friend Michael Stenslin. Way back when we started this, he whipped that up. He's the lead singer of the Astronomers. I'm actually wearing their one of their hats. Check them out. They're fucking awesome. They were just performing down by us in Fond du Lac. So just so many people that goes into making this work. It's been so awesome. Can't thank you guys enough. But enough of our blabbing. You'll hear enough of that in the next episode. Let's bring in the guy we're actually all here to listen to.
Legend.
The W.
How's it going, guys?
W, welcome. Well, why don't you give your proper introduction and let everybody know who you are, and then maybe even explain the W. As you can see, it's very specific how we spell it and how we talk to him. So.
All right. So my name is Matthew Weidler, lieutenant with the Beaver Dam Fire Department, also a member of Wisconsin Task Force 1. Started out way back when, 2009 as a cadet with the Beaver Dam Fire Department, worked up to a POC, and now full-time lieutenant, third generation firefighter. I remember going to the firehouse, seeing my father when he was there. I remember going down to the firehouse one Saturday and playing Nintendo 64 with the guys. So that's one of those things where it started, and loved the passion for it and continued on. And now we got to work with these two yahoos. And for some reason they invited me here, but we'll see.
No, we already told you, and this is going to be the great problem to have for this episode. W didn't think he had anything to offer because he's just a humble guy and doesn't realize that he's actually a huge mentor to anybody he meets. We have more questions than we know what to do with that were sent in for this episode.
Yeah, so he's the first one actually got questions.
So well done, everybody. Let's keep that up because that was the easiest prep that Brennan and I ever had to do. So we're going to be cutting some of the generic questions. So that's probably the reason then. If you don't want to hear us ask the same question, send in your own question, because that's our solution with all the questions that were sent in for W here. But as you may have figured out, Weidler being his last name starts with a W. W, not as original, but one that stuck like a motherfucker.
Yep. I started out on shift 2, and shift 2, everyone had a nickname, and so that's what I got. So I'll take it. I've had it for the last 8 years, and
I didn't know what the actual name was for 6 months that I was there. So, but that's how a good nickname gets created. Well, awesome. Brendan, take it away with the only generic question that we're going to ask of you.
Yeah, for sure. So we always ask this one. You know what it is. Why are we here? And this is No context. You take it how you want.
That's a very broad question.
It is. And you know what? It creates a lot of good discussion.
I mean, why are we here? I mean, we're here to do good for the people. We're here to do good for our families. I mean, being from a smaller department, we have to be on top of our game. And so I'm here to expand my knowledge. I'm here to help my community. I'm here to learn from you guys. I'm here to learn from my crew because I live in my community and I want to be able to do the best I can and make sure that everyone around me is doing the best they can, because it could be me that they have to come save. So I'm using this not only as a time to talk to you guys, but to learn and branch out and meet new people and go from there.
Awesome. I like it.
Absolutely. Yeah, being in the community. Like I said, it's all the cliches that get said in the fire service. I mean, that one still holds true, is be the person you want serving your family or you. You know, if you do that, you're gonna be golden. You know, it's the fireman's golden rule. It's just treat others like you'd like to be treated, but instead it's the little spin that we put on it because of the uniqueness of the job.
Yeah, I mean, like you guys have seen, we live in a small community where it's not uncommon to have to get called back into work on a couple times a week basis. And you guys have seen it. I'll bring my daughter in with me, and either our administrative assistant's always nice enough to watch her or one of our paid on call members, but I want to be there for my community. I want to be there to help. My parents live in the community. My family does. And I take that sense of ownership to make sure that we are covered and that we can get something out the door if we have to.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely. Well, yeah, that's as easy as it is for the generic ones. So you don't even get any preparation with these. All our other guests, they know they got 4 questions. They can go back and watch and know what's coming. But you got so many sent in that it's just gonna be fun. I love all the questions too. There's the fun ones, you know. There's people that know you that were sending in to be goofy, but then they all had like awesome questions that they sent in with it, and I'm really excited. But first one that we got from you is from Pam, and Pam sent in, what's your favorite thing about the fire service?
So a little bit background is Pam was one of our paramedic students. Her husband's one of our police officers. She now is full-time in another department. But an answer to Pam's question is just a broad variety that our department has to offer. We have a dive team. We have a tech rescue team. We have a TEMS team. We are the biggest department in about a 30-minute response, so we get to go see some cool shit, and I get to do some cool shit. Never did I think I'd be able to get on Wisconsin Task Force 1, but it's one of those things that the department has opened up for me. And with our tech rescue team, it allowed me to get on the state team, and the state team allows me to bring back stuff to the department. And tech rescue is one of those things that I really like. I have fun. I help teach these two some stuff, supposedly.
And
but like I said, overall, it's just a broad variety of stuff, but tech rescue is what I love.
Awesome. Next one is from your very own Heather. And her question, which I love because we have never asked it to anybody, even in your position. What are the highs and lows of being a lieutenant?
My highs are when I'm able to advocate for like you two. You guys go out to do a special training and you bring that shit back. Like, I love when you guys come back and teach stuff. Like, Bryce, you came back from your TEMS class and you had so many fucking great ideas. Brian came back from firemanship down in Illinois. It was talking about roof vents, and he took the crew out. And watching you guys expand, like, that is one of the greatest things to do as a lieutenant. It's just watching you guys grow. Thing that sucks the most is freaking paperwork. If I could stay out of the office, it'd be fucking great. But paperwork, coming up with the wonderful quotes for all the tools that you guys want to buy, and trying to find quotes for it all, and then, all right, I got a quote, but we gotta wait till budget time. And it's like, I want to buy stuff now.
Oh, I hate
But
budget.
yep, but it's great to watch you guys grow. So that's the lieutenant's spot for us.
With more responsibility comes more paperwork.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's not a fun thing to look forward to, but awesome. I mean, like you kind of mentioned, and like we said, you've been a huge mentor to all of us, and that's I think why you got most of these questions sent in, and why a lot of people wanted to hear you on there is the mentorship of that being a lieutenant and being in that role is awesome. It was extremely awesome to be there, like you said, to be able to come back and share that stuff. You know, it's not you just come back and it's like, oh, how was your training? Cool. We learned all this. Don't care. You know, get back to work, right? You come back and you actually get to share it, and it means it was worth it. You know, you bring it back, and you maybe even see some change, or you at least get conversations started, and that's the best part about it, and that's why we go to trainings.
Oh yes, yes indeed. I mean, whether it's EMS or fire or tech rescue, I mean, everything's always changing. There's no one way to skin the cat. Everyone has their different opinion on how to do stuff, and I can tell you, just because I wear a yellow helmet on my department, I remember a car accident on the north side of our city. I thought I had all the answers, and one of our line firefighters, who's fucking smart as shit, who went to another department, JD, he was like, "Hey, we gotta try this." And I was like, "I fucking trust you. Fucking do it. Let's get this done." And just because I have a title behind my name doesn't mean shit. We're in this together, and he was the brains behind that operation that day to get that person out of the car. So you gotta be able to utilize your coworkers, utilize your friends to get the shit done.
And that what makes a great leader right there.
Mm-hmm.
Is trusting your crew and putting people where they best perform. And W does a great job. Our lieutenant and captain on our ship does a really good job of doing that.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Next question is from one of our cops, or your cops now. Still, Rindo. And Rindo's question is, why do I always see you pumping? And how do I become a W?
So this goes way back. My father was very similar. He loved the pumping. He loved the being the engineer. And even in high school, I was reading books on how to pump, how to do this, how to do that. And they had a wonderful thing on Fire Engineering's website where they had a simulated pump panel. And I used to do that during study hall, practicing getting water to the guys. And
I didn't know this. This makes so much sense.
And it was just something I love. And that was one of the downfalls to becoming a lieutenant is I don't get to drive as often. We let our firefighters drive. But now that Bryce was going to be an acting officer, Brennan's working on becoming an acting officer, I get to drive more. And that's something I love. And I can even teach it to a cop, I swear. We can teach a cop how to pump. It's not that hard.
Careful, Rindo might try.
He's slowly getting there. He's working on hooking the hydrant now, so he's slowly getting there.
Hey, we'll start with city lays and then we'll work on drafting. But no,
Right.
It's been something I've been doing for a long time. I remember my father telling me stories about pulling out the grease pencil on fire scenes and writing up the math on the side of the door back when he ran it. And it's one of those things where I do the same thing. The first, oh, you bugger. Hold on one second. The joys
of we're back. Technical difficulties.
Technology. My headset died already.
He didn't want to look like a gaming nerd like us, even though he's a hardcore gaming nerd. So.
Oh yeah. So like I was saying, just going back to like my father telling me when he was in the fire service, the first 5 minutes are always the craziest. And just having that sense of calmness after the first 5 minutes and doing the math afterwards and being like, you know what, I fucking know my shit. And I know sometimes I drive you guys crazy with doing some pumping drills and throwing some stuff at you, but I like to make sure I have water when I'm in a building. It's one of those things I like. So
that's nice. It's nice having water.
It's a good feeling.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, as I'm sure as the listeners, people watching, whatever, are going to notice, there's a common thread when we talk about you in your role, and that's why I wanted to include that conversation. Is while we always joke and talk about how much you like running the pump, it's awesome that you give that opportunity, and it's because, like you said, when you were promoted, you weren't necessarily able to do as much, but then once you had members that were wanting to progress, get experience, move into those higher roles, you were the first one to not even, just the selfish aspect of liking a pump, but feeling comfortable and knowing you had prepared us for that role where you were comfortable being at the pump while we were comfortable being in that acting role, which I think says a lot. And I think that's why we are so excited, and we were so excited to be on that when I would come in and see I was pumping and you were right seeing like, woo, I'm not gonna pump. But
I mean, even today, I think it was like 2 weeks ago, we had a call and Brennan was supposed to be MPO. And I was like, hey, you want to run the show on this one? It came in as a possible kitchen fire. It's like, you want to run the show? He's like, hell yeah. It's like, you fucking run it. I got your back. And we were on the way there and we were kicking ass. Someone may have forgot a helmet.
Oh,
Not
again?
gonna name
Not
names.
you again. Not you again,
Yeah.
Brennan.
Yeah. No,
What?
the shift are a couple calls before then. It was a fucking hectic jumping calls or jumping ships, like car accidents, rule call, this call. It's like
So let me
Yeah,
outlay this. For those that don't know, we are a smaller department. We have an engine for the city, engine for the rural, and then engine for car accidents. And that's going to be changing in 2 years because we're going to have a first due for everything. But right now, you have to jump companies for everything. And so Brennan grabbed everything but his helmet. And so I was like, fuck it, take mine. I don't give a fuck. Like, go do it. I want you to
Tell me
succeed.
someone got a
Go
picture
do
of
it.
that.
I need two helmets at least.
I'm pretty sure Chief rolled his eyes as Brennan walked by, but it was kind of funny.
Oh my god! So
So-
remember when we were? I know we told the story on the podcast of your helmet
Yeah.
falling off the back.
Yeah,
Remember when we said that when you make a mistake like that, you never do it again?
I did it again. You know what? Whatever. Yeah, so we're on route to the call, and I was like, I got everything perfect. I'm getting ready. I'm looking. Oh, fuck. I got my helmet again. I started laughing. I was like, W, I'm taking your helmet.
That's amazing. That is awesome.
It was
Yeah.
a long shift before that, too.
Hey, it happens. Roll with the
happened
punches.
again.
Yep.
It happened again. But, whatever.
That's awesome. So the next question we have, I got to pull up this list because wow, he's continued to go. We now have 7 questions from Joey. So we're not going to go through all 7, but his first question especially is going to be kind of the answer as to why there's been so many damn cops that have sent in questions for you. And I love talking about this to anyone when I was down there, and love trying to create that relationship here, because I think it's an extremely important part of the fire service that we don't necessarily take advantage of all that often. I mean, how it ran down by us, it's pretty awesome, and it's extremely helpful to have people that can know what they're doing on all sorts of scenes. So his first question is, how do you feel about your relationship with local law enforcement, and if they can improve on helping for EMS or fire, how so?
So I think we have a pretty awesome relationship with our PD. One of the things that happens with our PD when they get hired, they come and spend a day with us. So they spend 8 hours. We do the normal bullshit where it's CPR. Hey, this is how you use the cot. Hey, this is how you do that. But we get to know them, and we get to realize, hey, I can trust you. You can trust me. And that is a great feeling. I can tell you, Rindo, God bless the man. I'm pretty sure he would try to intubate someone if I let him, because he'd come in during our trainings and he'd intubate Fred the head. But it's just that great working relationship that we have with them. I love the fact that they're able to get the cot for us. If I tell them, hey, I need the red bag, I need the Lucas, they know where to go. One of my favorite memories with our PD is I was in the back with my partner, and one of our cops decided to drive us because it was a critical call and we trust him. Jeremiah is his name. Jeremiah the Bullfrog was driving and he hit the little electric air horn on our ambulance. I was like, stop being a little pansy. Hit the silver button. And that's our legit air horn. And I swear the whole rest of the way to the hospital, I never stopped hearing that air horn. He was a little kid in the candy shop. I love that.
You still had brakes.
Positive news, our ambulances don't have air brakes. So
good.
We're good. But I mean, it goes as far as we have breakfast with our PD on the weekends. We try and make that happen. Sometimes it doesn't with training and stuff. But it goes all the way down to don't be a shitbag. Help out our friends. Help out our brothers. I can tell you, Andy, who's one of our cops, Pam's husband, he had a tree come down this summer. They live a half an hour from me. I made the drive. I was like, hey, let me come help you cut down a tree. Like, I don't have an issue with that. You build that relationship with our PD. You build it with anyone in public safety. And you make sure you make your friends. Like, don't be a shitbag. That's what I got.
I think it's very beneficial to have a personal relationship with everybody you work with. Like all the cops, you go on scene, you talk shit. You get to talk shit about each other and have a good working relationship with you. But if you have a critical call and you need something and they're right on top of it, I mean, we go to P&Bs all the time and we pull up to the front of the house and we put the brake on, right in park. They're already grabbing the bags that we need, and they know exactly how we operate, so that's beneficial to the patient and for us too.
Yeah, I mean, there's not many communities that, like last shift, we had a reported P&B show up. There's 3 cops on scene ready to do stuff before we get there, and they're already grabbing the cop for us. Happily, it wasn't a P&B. He was up talking and walking, but they're ready to do shit right away. And that's because they work with us. They train with us, and we're able to work with them, and they accept the feedback, and we accept their feedback. Because there's times where we fuck up their scenes. I'm not gonna lie, kick stuff, move stuff, sweep up debris from a car accident before they're ready, and you just gotta learn from each other. So
we both have the common goal, and that's just kind of the most important thing is that you avoid those things. I mean, you go on accidents all the time, and we'll see cops blocking traffic and they're in wrong spots, or they're right in the way of the scene, or like they're annoyed that you're blocking the scene when you could pull off. Like, we have different mindsets but the same goal, and once you start working together on that, things go so much smoother. And we're going to be talking about this a lot when we bring on Andy. Andy Burnett's going to be on next year, and our goal is to do a lot of that because we haven't had a cop on before. So we're hoping maybe we'll get some more cops that watch the episode with him and touch on that a lot, because it is so beneficial. And I do try and tell it to everybody when we start talking about things, especially when it comes to TEMS or whatever. Like, it's such an easy tool that I think most of us miss, because we all like each other. We all pick fun everywhere across the country. You poke fun at each other. We know we're there, but like when it actually comes to working together, most places do not do that well. We do not have those conversations. It's like, oh, hey, stay safe. How's it going? Whatever. But like, you roll up on scene and both parties have met each other, hung out with each other, trained with each other. Like, oh my God, it is so smooth. It is fantastic. So we will beat that horse to death when we have Andy on there. Plus, he's got so much other fun knowledge to share.
Yes, he does.
Awesome. Going through other of Joey's questions, he says, do you feel wronged when a police officer puts out a fire before you respond? Which I know where this is coming from.
I mean, we all like to play. Do I wish we could pull the hose off truck every single time we got a fire call? Yeah, sometimes the PD beats us there by that 1-2 minutes, and they're able to make that knock. And ultimately, I do like to give the PD shit, but ultimately it goes back to we all have similar goals, and our goal is to limit property damage, limit life safety, and as long as they're able to get in there safely and knock it down, I won't bust their balls too much. I'm gonna give them crap, but as long as they did it safely and they're able to get out, I'll respect them for that. Like I will say that. So
Awesome. His last one feels pretty targeted. That I'm going to read at least, which is, do you have any animosity in Bryce leaving you? So I feel like he might be lashing out here.
So Bryce started with us after a referendum back in 2020.
What?
Or was it 21? So Bryce has been with me for the last 3 years. He was assigned on my shift when I was on shift 2.
4 years.
Back when I was a line firefighter, and then Bryce got bumped over a couple times, but he ended up on my shift on shift 3. I'm always sad to see people leave. I'm not gonna lie. I've had multiple people leave before you, and I never wish them ill will. I always try and say my goodbyes. I know a couple people have left where I wasn't there, and I always try and call them and say, hey, if you need anything, call me. And that goes for Bryce. Like, do I miss having his smiley giggliness around the station and his fun energy? Yes, I do. I won't lie. Like, it has been definitely different the last 5 months, but I've also heard a lot of good stories about him up at Fond du Lac. I've heard it from a couple lieutenants.
We don't need to be doing this. This is your time.
I've heard it from a couple of the lieutenants up there. I've heard it from him. He's getting some good experience, and even now I'm still learning from him. And that's all I can ask for, is that he continues to grow. So
awesome. The reason I was including this was because I wanted to talk about how it has been interesting in the fire service, how, you know, people move. And I like, obviously we've been much closer than coworkers, but that the people that have left, you, like you said, have been one that no matter what your maybe professional feelings have been, you're always reaching out, making sure that you connect. Because, well, again, same as the cops, fire, whatever, we're all in the same goal. And you don't always know what's going on with people's lives. And with the nature of the fire service now compared to 15 years ago, you can go anywhere. And, you know, it's on the departments to keep people. And, you know, no matter where you go, no matter how great of a department, you're going to have people that leave just for personal feelings or whatever. And I think of a lot of people, you've done a fantastic job doing that with everybody that goes there. And, you know, we've had this conversation a lot on the podcast about jumping ship, going places, how people feel. And, you know, it's just, it's the job, and it's how the job is adapted. And I think that's just how things change.
Yep.
But thank you for that. That was very nice. This is your time, so knock it off.
Shitbag.
Thank you. I need more of that.
No, I'm talking. You're a shitbag, Bryce.
Yes, that's what I need more. Let's bring it in. Awesome. Our last question that Brennan and I came up with that we wanted you to share, which then it'll be your turn to come up with the next question. And we've got our question from a previous guest. But before we get to that, how do we better mentor new members in the fire service? Again, I said there's a common theme when it comes to you and how you've gone about being an officer. But even before that, like you said, when I started, you were just a line guy that was assigned a mentor. And how do we better that?
It's interesting. You can talk about generational stuff. You can talk about all that stuff. But it's getting to actually know someone. Like, if I come at you and tell you this is the way to do it, yada, 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 that's fine and dandy. But I got to know Bryce Hicken as a person. I got to know Brennan Bushke as a person. Get to know him. Like, actually be a mentor to him. Like, I can tell you both of your dog's names. Like, actually have that relationship with them and communicate with them. You got to be personal with people, and you got to tailor how you're going to teach it to how they are. I know Brennan hates freaking book stuff. God bless Brennan as goddamn math, which he can't do 90% of the time, which is entertaining in itself.
Barely read. Let's take it one step back. That's why he hates books.
Numbers.
But Brennan loves doing practical stuff. Brennan hates it when I do my pump theory. But if we can get out there and do it, He loves that. You're pretty similar. You're a little bit more. You can do the book stuff as well, but you like getting out there. One of our newer firefighters that's on our shift, she loves the book stuff. And you know what? I'll gladly talk all day on book stuff. You gotta be flexible. And sometimes you have to realize that even though I'm the mentor, I may not be the right person to teach something. Maybe it's something where, hey, I'm not the greatest on this, but you know what? Bryce or Brennan can do it a lot better. Let's both train on it together. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that I've come to realize is I'm not very good at showing my failures, but I understand that I got to show my failures because that makes us all grow as a whole, as a shift. Mm-hmm. And that's something that I'm going to be working on towards this next year is getting in there a little bit more. I know I get tied up in my office, but I want to get out there and be out there with my mentorees. I want to be out there with my shift. And I want to show them that, you know what? I don't know everything. I failed just as much as you guys. And we're going to do it together. And we're going to get shit done together. So.
Oh, yeah. No, that's the major thing of the fire service. People are here to fail. Failure, mm-hmm. that's how we learn, right? Mm-hmm. And if we can all learn of each other's failures, then one less person can fail more than the other. And mm-hmm. That's the common goal of the fire service is to fail less, but it's never going to fucking happen because we all are dumb shits in our own profession. But we strive to get better. And by failing, we're going to get better and better and better every day. So that's awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. All right. So the question that we've got from our previous guest, Chad, is when you have limited manpower and limited resources coming, how do you divide your manpower to get the most bang for your buck? So a pretty spot on one for you to answer, like you stated, being a small department and relying on volunteer world, it takes a little bit to get extra resources. And how do we do it?
It can be a challenge, but putting the right people in the right place is going to be the biggest thing. We had an apartment fire not long ago where it came in as just smoke in the area, single engine, single truck response, and it got there and we had to work in an apartment fire and we had minimum staff. And sometimes it requires you to do stuff that you try not to do. You try to make sure you got a couple people here, a couple people there. But that day, I know I had Brennan go inside and start doing a search right away as they were still pulling the line to the back. Like, he was able to do a search by himself rapidly because there was kids' clothing. There was stuff there. We had to search. I trust Brennan. I was able to maintain contact with him via radio while the crew was pulling a hose line. Being able to trust your people to get in there and do shit. And on that fire, Brennan not only did a search, he did VES, and then he also helped pump the hose line. And it's just having confident people that are able to do everything. With my department, we aren't allowed to do just truck stuff. We aren't allowed to do just engine stuff. We got to be doing everything, and we got to be able to do everything. And that night proved it. I mean, there was a solid 15, 20 minutes before our backup got there, before our mutual aid. And it sucked. I can tell you that we went through a fair amount of bottles, but we got the shit done, and everyone went home. And being able to cross-train everyone and utilize everyone. Just because you're cross-trained on everything doesn't mean you're perfect on everything. Mm-hmm. But I know that I can, with Brennan's cross-training, his excellence is search and hose line advancement. We have another guy who's newer to our shift. I know his cross-training. He loves pumping, and he loves driving the aerial, and that's where he was that day. And it worked out great because we were able to use our strengths and weaknesses together for our 9 people that we had on the fire ground. We were able to get shit done. So that's how I try and do it, is making sure that I put people where they need to be to get the shit done.
Awesome. Yeah, it's a big deal. you don't have as many people around there that you can stand around and piss it out. Like we were talking with Chad and Brian even before that. I mean, they said they get a lot of people there pretty damn quick, and it's very opposite. That just is what it is. The only one engine, one truck, one ambo right away. You got your POCs coming.
Yeah. I mean, this day we had a 6-man staff, so we had 3 on the engine, 2 on the truck, 1 on the med, I believe, somewhere along those lines. We had 5 POCs, 2 of which were still in class, so they were unable to pack up. So we only had 3 additional firefighters. So you show up to an apartment fire on the 2nd floor of a 8-unit apartment building, and you got 9 firefighters and 2 exterior only firefighters. You gotta make shit happen.
Yeah, absolutely.
Our closest other department responding for Mavis, I think probably 15 minutes, 20 minutes, because they still had to respond to the station to grab people.
Yep.
Oh,
I know Chief was getting annoyed with me because every couple minutes I was asking for if we had another crew available, and he finally got to the point where he went, "I'll give you a crew as soon as I get them." And it's like, I know, Chief, I'm sorry. I just know my guys are getting tired. They're doing a great job, but when you get them, I'll use them.
Yeah, absolutely. Awesome. Well, that wraps up all the questions we have for you. So now's the hard part. You got to come up with a question, which will be for our first guest of 2025, which would be Andy Stars. We met him at Sawdust. He's a great guy. And he's got a lot of passion, especially on search. And just, he's a great guy. Firefighter down southern area. I forgot to ask him exactly because he just moved. But I believe he was on St. Louis for a little bit. I remember seeing. So he's a bang up guy to be a good way to start off. He'll be fired up. I know that.
I mean, you guys know I love being an MPO, and I gotta kind of throw this one out. Is what's his opinion on the Quint concept and having to run as an engine when you are first due?
That's a good one.
Yeah, we still, it's interesting. The Quint is interesting. Obviously our department's got SOGs on how we run it, but it's my first time dealing with a Quint, and I've been on it a couple times, and yeah, it is interesting because it could be per our SOGs, it could be a truck, it could be an engine, depending on when it arrives. So you got that variable on that because, depending on where it is in the city, depending on turnout times, where the other engines are, you're kind of, we talk about pre-gaming a lot, but you kind of have to almost pre-game once you get there and you find out what you're assigned, if you're the
and what your audible is.
Yeah. So it's interesting, but yeah, it'll be a cool question for him. Yeah. Well, awesome. That's all we got. Last part we have is a kitchen table. So anything that we didn't talk about, that we didn't hit, any shout outs that you want to give, the rest of the time is yours. We don't gotta do anything else.
I mean, like you guys know, I want to thank you guys for when you guys worked with me, how you guys know that I got pulled in lots of different directions. Sometimes I bite off more than I can chew. I do radio stuff, I do tech rescue stuff, I do technology stuff, I do equipment repair, and these two help keep training on track. And without these guys, it'd be a pain in the ass doing my job. And just having great people under me to help me do what I do to keep the department where it's going. And with that, they help me be better. And then in return, I kind of take some stuff from upper management. I have to be that filter. And that's what I'm going to say is you got to be that intermediary between management and line guys. You got to know what the line guys need to hear. But sometimes you got to tailor it to your crew so they know what's going on. Because there's definitely times where I get frustrated with emails, and take a day before you tell your shifts exactly everything. Like just being that buffer. I can tell you these guys helped me grow a lot. I didn't grow necessarily from the wonderful Fire Officer 1 class or the wonderful Fire Officer 2 class.
What?
No way.
Why, man?
I don't want to say those classes were were useless.
They're useless.
But yeah,
They're useless. I'm gonna say that right now.
oh
Absolutely.
boy, we've lost it. We've lost it. We're off the rails.
I grew from the mentors around me. My
Absolutely.
captain I grew from. My previous captain, who's now our deputy chief, I grew from. Our previous deputy chief, who's retired, I still talk to.
Mhm.
It even goes as far as my father's old department in Illinois. I still have contact with them every so often where I'm able to talk to them and have that network. There's multiple times where, even on EMS calls, where you get done with it and you're like, I don't know if I did the right thing. And having that network of people that you can text a question at 2 in the freaking morning, and when you wake up, you have a reply saying, hey, this is what I would have done, or hey, you made the right call, and that's what matters.
Absolutely.
I love this job. It's an amazing thing. We get to do a lot of stuff. But one of my shout outs I
Best
want to
job
do,
we ever had.
one of my shout outs is Rennert's Fire Equipment.
Oh boy.
Oh
Are you
boy.
sponsored? Is this episode sponsored?
No,
Hey, Manny. Is Manny watching?
Manny over at Rennert's. I'm happy you didn't submit any questions, because I can tell you the amount of times I've called him or texted him with the fact that either I broke something or something is broken on a truck, and he is always there to answer my question. They're amazing people, and it goes back to just building those relationships. I know I called them at 10:30 at night the one night, and I'm pretty sure his wife was like, who the hell are you talking to now?
It's Jake.
But
Jake Farm.
yeah.
What are you wearing, Jake?
But I mean, that falls under one of my things too, is vehicle equipment, and just making sure I can make sure the maintenance and stuff is running, and being able to have a group of people that you can call and talk to and make sure a truck stays in service. We have a retiree that works for him now, Ox. Ox is an amazing person. I spent a lot of time with him while I was on shift too. And without him, I wouldn't have grown where I became. I mean, make sure you have good people around you, and you'll continue to grow.
Absolutely. Awesome. Well, that wraps up this episode. I told you it'd be painless and you'd have stuff to share. So
Yeah. Awesome.
I don't know about that, but we'll see.
You did great. As always, everybody, thank you so much for listening. Another year of guests. Looking so forward to 2025. We got some bang up guests coming on, and it's going to be a great thing. We've got lots of new announcements, lots of new things coming down the pipe. So stay tuned. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. As always, don't be a shitbag.
Yeah. Thanks for listening and tuning in. Don't be a shitbag.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.